Good morning, students. We are going to explain about laser rate equations in this video. As you have already known about how does the laser operation happen through and what are the different types of lasers, by now we'll look into it. How does the lasing action occurs? It's a relationship between the output optical power and the diode drive current, which is going to determine this laser diode rate equations. It has been governed by number of photons and electrons in the active region layer. And usually we know that when the lasing action is occurring, we have spontaneous emission, stimulated emission, and the injected electrons. So the rate equations are given by these two equations. One is d pi by dt, which will have a combination of stimulated emission, spontaneous emission plus the photon losses. The next one is dN by dt. So it is due to the injection electrons, spontaneous recombination and stimulated emission. The rate of change of number of photons and rate of change of number of electrons are being treated in calculating the spontaneous rate equation of a laser diodes. The parameters related with pi is in photons, n is with electrons, j is the current density, q is the charge of the electron, tau parameter are related with the lifetime period. Now we are going to equate under steady state condition LHS is equal to 0 in your equation 1 and 2. So if we equate LHS is equal to 0, d pi t must be positive when pi is very small. Therefore, you will arrive the equation C minus 1 by tau pH, which is greater than or equal to 0. Now, you are going to calculate for the nth threshold value if you want to increase pi. So, using the second equation, nth value of the threshold can be represented in terms of JTH. So, nth by tau SP is equal to JTH divided by QD. So, nth responds to a threshold value at the nth function with respect to the current density at jth function. After the steady state current, now we are going to equate the equations with respect to lasing at threshold function. Now, equation 1 and 2 are equated to 0 value. The same equation 1 and 2 in the second slide is now equated to 0 value. So, we can equate now under the lasing threshold function equation 1 and equation 2. Both are equivalent. So, 1 is equal to 2. Since it is under lasing function, the left hand side both is assumed to be 0. So, once I equate it, the term this one and this one is cancelled off. So, you are rewriting the equation, substitute the values of n th and tau sp, which is already calculated in previous slide. Replace it by jth function. So, you will have a common parameter. Now, you take a denominator in this particular segment. Tau pH is a denominator. So, tau pH is multiplied on numerator in all sides. Okay. So, take this function tau pH to 0. It will become 0. Now, you need to find out what is pi of s. Pi of s is equal to tau pH j minus jth plus tau pH RSP. The first term is number of photons from a stimulated emission and the second term is related with the spontaneously generated photon. So, both are related with the number of photons which are being generated. One is going to be under stimulated first term, second term is going to be under spontaneous value calculation. External quantum efficient, that is the important parameter which we need to derive into it. That is be represented by neta. Neta is going to be Q by Eg dP by di. It is defined as number of photons emitted per radiative electron pair recombination above the threshold condition. And Q by Eg, Q is the charge of the electron, Eg is the band gap energy. So that has been defined as a constant value 0.85 lambda, which is in micrometer. dP by di is representation of the power divided by the current. Therefore, the external quantum efficiency used in laser diodes, where internal quantum efficiency is not well defined. Whereas you remember in the source unit, optical source unit, when you do it on LED part, we take internal quantum efficiency there. But here in laser diode, we only depend upon the output power with respect to the drive current. Now we are going to compare how these two optical sources, and we'll choose which one is going to be best for which application. So there are several 15 points being listed, starting from its operation, output beam, spectral width, data rate, what is the distance it can transmit, what is the efficiency, what is the cost wise. Everything is being listed on the first column, the parameters. You're going to compare LED as the first source, second is the ILD, we call it as injection laser diodes. LED is spontaneous emission, whereas in laser diodes we are going to give stimulative. You're going to simulate. The LED produces a non-coherent, whereas laser produces a coherent. Once you say it is a coherent, automatically the spectral width is going to be narrow, output power is going to be higher, drive current is going to be lesser. The difference main over in LED and ILD is cost-wise LEDs are cheaper, but when you compare it to the maintenance for a long-term wise, laser diodes have a very big advantage. And second thing, data rate capacity in LED is going to be lesser. Laser diodes can have a bandwidth of more data rate transfer capacity. And finally, when I want to do a very small application limited within these several kilometers within the environment, it can be LAN, WAN, anything, you try to use the optical source as a LED. When if I want to talk about a very long distance communication of several thousand kilometers from one continent to the other continent, in that case fiber optic has to travel maybe around like 10,000 kilometers. In that case, we try to say that laser diodes are being used for long distance with a high data rate capacities. So these are the two types of optical sources we can use it. Depending upon the application and the output power needed, we try to use any one of the sources as an important optical source parameter, which helps in converting an electrical signal input to an optical output. Thank you.